Hello and welcome back to Sisyphus Gaming Channel. Today we are taking on the hardest Valheim has to offer once again. We have died very recently, which means we delete the save, we delete the world, delete the character, everything. It's quite brutal. We're doing no portals, no maps. It's quite difficult out there. Very hard combat, more raids. Where are we today? Well, we're looking for the Elder, well, specifically the Elder. We have a boss stone on the other side of this little ocean. We've set up shop next to this trader, and we are feeling very optimistic. However, as you notice, we only have wooden arrows, so let's see if we can't do something about that by hunting some birds. We need those feathers to make some fire arrows. And, oh, that we just missed one. Oh, we just missed that other. Oh, and this one. Oh, okay. Oh, yeah. Okay, missing them. Oh, we're being attacked by a dwarf shaman. That's classic. So that poison's actually quite. Ooh, I don't know if you see that. This is a 20-second timer on the poison. I am losing health fast. If I die, that's it. It's game over for me. I've got a trick up my sleeve. Let's just see what happens here. Let's see what I can do about that. Looks like it's got 6 seconds left, and I've got 18 health. But there we go. We pop a potion. We're back on our feet. It's a little bit. Oh, back to feathers. Yeah, it's a little bit touch and go here with this narration when I do edits like this. It's really like 4 hours worth of progress that I'm trying to catch up. What did we hit there? That was kind of a Robin Hood shot. Let's take a closer look. I see some feathers. You need feathers, resin, and wood to make 14 feathers to make fire arrows. Fire arrows are perfect for this next boss because the fact of the matter is he is just a big tree, and trees do not like to be burned at the stake like the witches that they are. That one's for the city folk out there. So we're just gonna pop off with as many fire arrows as we possibly can. But we actually didn't have a lot of resin around, so thankfully we were raided. You can tell it's a raid because of the text at the top. We were raided by these little monkeys, and they explode into resin. Thank goodness. They're forest creatures. It almost makes sense. So now we've got our fire arrows. What's next on the agenda? Well, I think it's to the seas, to the open seas. So we're just gonna lift off. We might not make it as far as India to the moon, but hopefully we do better than Russia's recent attempt. And it looks like we kind of did okay. We found the original base that we made, and what's next to it is that Elder Stone. So why don't we see if we can't just land right next to it, because that is where we will be leaving from. Easy, easy. All right, okay, yeah, it's a storm, but it's not that bad. Very nice. So, with that said, just make an easy landing here. Okay, here we go. Back up in the old shop. Nice little house. You can see how I defended it by digging holes. Let's cook some food. We just want to restock. A little bit hungry. Here we are at the Elder Stone again. Once you click it, it'll point you in the direction that you need to go. So let's see which way we need to go, and can we even hold it? These little boards that I placed should help us keep that direction at all times, because by not rotating them, we can actually put them down wherever we end up, wherever we land, and it'll keep pointing us in that correct direction. We can also use the tree as a reference point. Looks like it wants us to go just to the left of that huge main artery in the sky. It's one of those mythological Norwegian folklore of the Vikings with the world tree. So we're gonna make a little base here, and same idea, right? So we've held that camera angle this whole time. Let's see if we can't place the things we need to place to remember how to get there. Because again, it's just sort of pointing us in the direction. We don't have a map. But typically those stones will tell you exactly where to go, and you just go to your map and you go there, because you also know exactly where you are. It's like a GPS as well. But here, we don't have that. So what do we have? We have sticks and wood and a little bit of determination. So because it's not perfectly on one of those 8 angles, I don't know if you can see, but when I rotate it, you get 8 angles. And so we crossed this massive continent, and we placed down 2 of those 8 angles again. We're just kind of following what we think is the right direction. It's very loose, and obviously, the farther you go, the more likely you are to have actually overshot too far left or too far right. So now I know that there's sort of a spread here. The boss fighting area, the boss sort of, I don't know what you would call it, but where you spawn him, it's actually going to be in a very large spread. And so we're just hoping to get to a Black Forest and maybe explore it a little. So it's getting to be a night, so I thought, hey, let's just take a little dock. I'm pretty sure we're still supposed to be going in this direction. I have no idea. There's a big mountain on my right. There's a big forest on my left. And it looks like you can almost see the swamp way in the distance, there's some sickly looking trees there. So let's make a temporary little base. Actually, I had to fight so many waves of little nonsense night creatures just to make a house, but we got there eventually. We got our shut-eye. And you can see me recording the direction I think I have to go here. So that's so I can build a house without worrying about losing those angles. Because if I don't rotate in the building menu, then I can preserve those directions. And that's sort of my trick for finding bosses far, far, far from these, guide stones. And now that we've got a little bit of a house, we're going to see if we can't get some shut-eye. All right, now it's now morning, and we think we're supposed to hop on our boat, and we're supposed to just go towards that swamp. But I'm kind of suspicious, because that swamp is nowhere near what looks like a black forest. While I'm here, why don't I just take a peek around? It just kind of feels like one of those moments where, hey, I'll be sorry if I don't check. If I keep going that direction that I think I'm supposed to go, when really, maybe it was in here all along. So might as well take a look. So I'm just kind of navigating some of these skeletons as I press into this. And I saw a light. I don't know. Did you see that light in the forest? You must understand, fire is an unusual thing in any of these biomes. Especially in the dark rain like this, it really stands out. It almost helps that it's raining. So let's just press in a little bit. And it looks like, my God, we are home free. Look at this. We got very lucky. We just pressed in a little bit. We thought it's in one of these black forests in this direction. And here we are. So it's definitely been more hours than you could possibly realize, but that's what it's all about. We got swarmed by a bunch of monsters right as we landed here. We have no base, we have no defensive positions, we have 1 life. The cards feel a little bit stacked against us, but that's okay, that's part of the deal. So we're using this AoE machine, this absolute monster of a club, to keep some of these creatures a little bit away from us so we can just whittle their health down. Again, they have more health, more defense, all those things. Let's see if I can't light this puppy on fire. That'd be pretty funny. Yeah, it almost worked. It's how we killed the first boss, after all. And it's a preview for how I hope to kill this second boss. This is his altar, just so if it wasn't clear, this is where we fight the second boss. We got very lucky finding it without a map. Now, we're going to put this big fella down. Oh, we're going to put these fellas down. We got 3 of them on us. I think 2 more come in a second. One of them's a star. Yeah, you can see that star one off to the left. Way off to the left. Here he comes. Yeah, these poison guys, I don't know if you remember earlier, he almost killed me with 1 blast of his poison. Doesn't matter what I do. So what I'm trying to do with these bigger, tougher fellas is just kite them around, keep them on fire, whittle away their health. And this one's annoying. Look at that. He's healing himself. Just obnoxious. So imagine you're getting hit by a troll, you're being hit by a boss, you're being hit by a bunch of these little things. It's not a good situation for a person with 1 life. So we go up the hill a little bit. We found this little house, and I thought, hey, I can use this. I'm not a very great designer, but I can make a house a home when needed. Here we are. Let's get some warmth in there. So now we have a little temporary base to work out of while we think about how we're going to fight this second boss. That's really what this whole thing has been about, because since we died in the second episode, it's just been this question of how can we come back? How can we fight back? How can we take back what's ours? It was such a shameful death, too, getting pinned down. So let's design this arena a little bit. We know he's a big fella. We know he can run around a whole lot. But what if we get him to spawn right in the middle of this poor little arena? What if we build a system of sort of these, dragon teeth, this anti-tank philosophy? I don't know if you've seen some of those pictures in Eastern Europe right now, but this is how they keep tanks out of certain areas. They just build these horrible rocky pyramids all over the place, and in theory, it should slow down any kind of vehicle. And that's my theory here, is we've got this big wooden tree of a monster. What if we just put some rocks in his way? And you don't have to make the whole thing a wall and enclose him, but you can, if you just use a little bit of your materials. And that's the thing, it does take a lot of stone. So what you're not seeing is me running off and digging, running off and digging, running off and digging. And that just takes time. That's just part of a survival. I mean, I really joke about this, but survival crafting games are 90% inventory management. The gameplay is sort of like a cute little mini game, a bonus to managing your pockets. And I'm hoping, I wonder if that's how Starfield is going to be. And speaking of which, we are going to be streaming that pretty shortly. right about as I'm hoping I've got it set up for right as it comes out. So if you want to join on board, I would love to have you. Again, my philosophy when I play games and record is that I play games for the fun. You know, I don't play to record. I record because I'm playing. I think that's an important differentiation. I just thought I'd be sharing, you know, because I already did 15 of these no death runs. I mean, I lost all of them. I splattered myself against the wall, but I was like, hey, this is interesting content. Like, I think people should be seeing these insane efforts on settings nobody else is attempting. Even the current hard mode challenge isn't doing very hard combat. I believe they do have portals. They may or may not have a map. But at the end of the day, I think what I'm doing is actually a bit harder, especially when I'm not using a map seed generator to look at this whole world. I have no idea where anything is, and I want to keep it that way because it's more fun. I've also posted the full version of this playthrough, just about all of it at least, in the description, so you can see that if you would really like to. But I thought I would edit it up, chop it up a little bit, make it a bit more watchable. You can see me just digging away here at our little temporary base. What I'm doing here is defending it from the raids. All temporary bases have to be defended. The fact of the matter is I could get swarmed at any second. So what I did was I destroyed my bed and my crafting bench, which means that, yeah, I don't think they can raid me. It's just a working theory, but I figure, hey, every time they've ever raided when I played on a mapped mode, the red circle hovers. The epicenter is the working craft bench. So I figure if there's no crafting bench, what is there to raid? How do they know where I have a home? So that's kind of my working theory. It may or may not be true, but it seemed to work here. Just as I put my crafting bench and bed down, guess what? I got raided. I've got these big fellas out here, but my defenses are holding, as you can see. In fact, they held so well that I got a little bit overconfident and kind of went Rambo. I don't know. I thought I would include this horrendous clip of me just committing one war crime after another. It's, you know, I felt pride. I felt some kind of joy in this after all the trouble these little gremlins have given me. I'm just gonna let the violence soak in. Yeah, so anyway, speaking of violence, we have a campfire method. So this boss will spawn where the particles are densest, so we are just gonna stuff a bunch of campfires right around that area. Hopefully we can torch a lot of his health out before he knows what's happening. So I don't know if you see this, he is just cooking, which is exactly where we want him. And he's also inside of the dragon's teeth. I don't know what else to call him. And I'm a bit nervous, right? He's kind of trapped me here. I don't know about the campfire situation. It seems like it's doing good damage. I don't know if you can see it kind of building up slowly. He's just getting bigger and bigger burn hits. I figure if I can apply a little bit of burn with my arrows, maybe I can just whittle it up, keep it going, keep the burn damage going at all costs. And I'll be frank, if you guys watch my second attempt, this fight was like 10, 20 minutes. And just to get him half health, I mean, we had to go through a nighttime, we had to repair tools. And so to get him down to 66% within how many seconds? Like, oh, I don't know, like just less than a minute even. It was really stunning. So this is how I also fought the first boss this time around, which is how I sped back to this progression so quickly. So in future runs, when I die, you bet I'm going to be bringing some campfires with me, and especially when we're doing very hard combat difficulty. It seems risky because you do have to get fairly close. And as you can see, I'm still getting whipped around. I'm still getting hit by these things. I've got some potions, but when just 2 of his hits and these little monsters, these ads he spawns, can take off so much of my health. Even potions can't save you. As you remember from my last death, you just had 2 regular joggers, those zombie axemen. They just swiped twice at me, and I'm done. I'm just gone. My head's decapitated. Don't come back from that. I'm a little bit cornered right now. I'm a little nervous. This river made it really hard to negotiate the terrain. In theory, I wanted to have a pit, a moat all the way around this as well. I'd also thought about if I could dig a base underneath the platform, because it's a floating platform. Even if you dig around it, it doesn't have gravity. And so you can make an invincible roof, which is super, super cool, super useful stuff. However, because we are right by the river, really, really, really low elevation, it just goes into the water. And obviously, it's pretty hard to sleep in a pond. Haven't tried it, don't plan on trying it. These trees are doing me a solid just by existing, because I didn't build a trench here. So next time around, even if I feel like I have a hill advantage and a, dragon's tooth advantage. I think I'm going to want to build some kind of defensive trench, because nothing is better at, killing defensively than early 20th century trench warfare. If only I had mustard and chlorine gas. I'm at the point where, oof. Yeah, see, look at what he does to me. I would not feel too guilty about it. Yeah, he's just coming after me. I'm getting mom surrounded. So that's the thing. Even though I do 66% of his health so quickly, so rapidly, at the end of the day, it's just so dangerous to have any of these encounters. And you can see how little my arrows have been doing. I've got a maxed out bow with fire arrows that, in theory, are his weakness. But I mean, look at this. I'm just barely chiseling him away. And I thought, hey, I keep fighting him on his, in his corner. I keep coming over to where he has the benefit, the advantage. So why don't I just lob him at him? Just keep lobbing him at him from a good distance away. I've got the accuracy. It's a little bit less climactic, sure. But I almost feel bad for cheesing him like this. But you know what? He's looking like a dead tree more and more. Just one at a time. Just slow and steady. It's just, I think I've said this before, but what Sun Tzu said, death by 1,000 cuts, right? Just bleeding out. And that burn damage really does tick away at him as well. There's no shame in that. I love the smell of barbecue in the morning, lads. How about you? Because here we are, back on top. And this is almost exactly where we had died the last time. We had killed the Elder. We had looted his corpse for that key. That key is what you need to go to the next biome, the swamps. So I thought I'd be a little bit Hot Topic 2007, a little theatrical here and get kind of my, glory picture here. A little bit of a glory, mount the trophy, all that. I don't know if you remember, but at that little base we made before we pressed inward, we had seen a swamp, and well, now we have the key. We're hugely ecstatic. We've made this progress. We're back to where we left off in the second attempt before we got massacred. And I thought, well, what if we could come home with some iron? Because I'm just such a smart, efficient, clever little boy. So we're going to park the boat in such and such a way that, if opportunity demands it, I might have to flee suddenly. Some fast and furious maneuvering sometimes can happen. So I thought I'd leave this whole clip in. Usually I'm, jumping around. So I walk in. I'm like, okay, those green lights I saw, usually you see them outside of the crypts, which are the dungeons with iron, which is why I'm in the swamp. Truth be told, it kind of feels a lot like there's none of those crypts, and I got tricked here because those are just ruins with monsters. So I'm like, well, maybe there's a chest in there with iron. I could at least bring 20 iron back that way. Oh, yeah, okay, I'm doing pretty good. Look at that damage I'm doing. I've got this. And then he does 90% of my health, it feels like. And I decide that's enough for me. I am terrified. This is the end. There's a troll. There's joggers. There's my boat. No stamina. How are we going to do this? Because I don't know. I'm hearing heavy stomping, heavy mashing. I'm beyond terrified. I'm hearing the troll engage with some of those jogger. I believe they're enemies, naturally. I pop a health potion. I think that troll's after me. I'm hearing some smacking and some fighting, and I'm hearing some dying. So you know what it sounds like? I think they just killed that troll. Just slaughtered him. But hey, better him than me. Let's go home, and here we are. We went back home the only way we knew how, just by following how we came. And there it is. So I thought, well, now that I'm home, might as well fortify the area a bit. I always like speeding this up because the high pitch of like the smack, 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 kind of satisfying in a strange way. So we're digging out these walls so we can build them up a little bit so any kind of enemy can't actually overcome them. And if you know, the traitor's bubble, it actually de-aggers them as long as I stand in it. So I thought, but they can still walk through it if I'm on the other side. So I thought, well, why don't we just surround my house? Why don't we just surround the traitor with proper defenses, real walls that'll keep them out? So now I've got a veritable, indestructible castle where I can wait out every single raid. And even when they do attack me, I'm setting up these walls so, arrows and things like that can't get in and slap me around a little while I'm just trying to, clean my undergarments. That's embarrassing. Nobody wants to be caught with their ass hanging out. which is, it wouldn't be the first time. Probably won't be the last time for me, but I'm going to prevent it as much as I can, in theory. I mean, some people love it. Some people are into it. Maybe it's an acquired taste. I, for one, just want to garden in peace, and that's what you can see me doing here. I'm preparing the farm. We had some carrot seeds that are great for making recipes, and here we go. We've got them all planted, about something like 30 of them before I ran out. We got to take care of that stone, but we'll get there when we get there. And speaking of which, let's get a little bit of a better pickaxe in order to get that stone. So we thought we'd go mine some tin, mine some copper. We're going to melt them together and make bronze. And once we have that, we can make a proper pickaxe. Oh, there we go. Absolutely beautiful. Copper, you need 2 copper and 1 tin for every 1 piece of bronze, which means 3 pieces of metal, which is why bronze is so slow, and I hate using bronze armor because it's so expensive, slows you down, and troll armor is practically as good. That's why I'm using it. And that's why I usually don't upgrade any of these tools, but I believe I need the pickaxe. So where are we off to next? We're going to the swamps. We're building a proper boat. We're going to get some iron. Thank you guys, and I will see you next time. Absolutely love it. Take care.